All right, you guys, welcome back. Today, we have another one of our students inside of our coaching program who's going to share his story from the day he began into real estate to where he's at today. Mr. Vince Memo, welcome to the show, my friend.
How's everybody doing? What's going on, Brandon?
Yeah, good to see you. Appreciate you popping on here with me today.
Absolutely.
So really quick, before we jump into the interview and tell your story, Vince, tell everybody what market are you in and how long have you been in real estate?
Yeah, so I actually live in Delaware, but I'm in the Philadelphia area, and I sell real estate in the Philadelphia area. Been in the market for about 7 months. Just started not too long ago.
Is that your assistant right there?
Yeah, he's crazy. I don't know what's going on with him. He's going nuts back there, but I should have shut my door, but we'll push through it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you've been in Philadelphia and you said you've been selling real estate for how long?
7 months.
7 months. All right, cool. And how long have we been working together?
To be honest with you, I think I joined the program before I even got my license.
All right, so we've been working together the whole time.
Yeah, so I joined in like May. I did the online portal, and I got licensed like April 28th, like to be exact. I got licensed. So I joined the online portal first, and then like once I got licensed, and I heard about Listing Agent Academy, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm all in at this point. I mean, $3,000. I mean, that's one closing. So I thought it was like a no-brainer.
Cool. So let me ask you this. What led you to get into this business? Like, what were you doing 8 months ago before you got started in real estate?
Yeah, great question. So I was in a union. We have unions here in the Philadelphia area. I know they're not everywhere, but so I was in the entertainment business. So I would set up staging in the Lincoln Financial Field, because for the Eagles, Citizens Bank Park, the Wells Fargo Center, all the major arenas. The union would go in as stagehands, and we would help what's called the roadies. The roadies would be there and tell us what to do when we would put up the staging and the concert lighting, the audio, the video wall, etc. COVID put a hurting on us for a little bit, so I had some downtime, obviously, and I got my real estate license.
When you were doing that, or what did you see, or what did you hear? Why real estate? I mean, there's so many other things you could have done. What incited you, or how did you decide, okay, I'm going to get into real estate?
Yeah. So I'm sure you've heard of Graham Stephan, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I watch him a decent amount, not as much as I used to, but I watched some of his videos, and he was talking about it, and I'm like, shit, I'm like, real estate. I always had a thing for real estate investing just because I think real estate's a great wealth building tool.
Sure.
So I was always into real estate, but I never thought about getting my real estate license. And then I signed up for the course to get my license. And as I kept progressing and learning more about real estate, I'm like, all right, there's some money to be made here. You know what I mean? So
Got it.
Heard a lot of success stories, and here I am.
So that makes a lot of sense. And so I guess the next thing that I'm curious about is there's not a lot of brand new licensees that get into real estate and immediately start investing in themselves to get better as far as training and coaching. You made that decision before you were even licensed. And so where did that mindset come from? Did you have a belief in self-development, or how did you come to that conclusion that you needed a coach from day one?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, when I first found you, I like the FSBO backup plan. I'm like, all right, I want to learn more about the FSBO backup plan. But honestly, that's just scratching the surface with you, because then you start talking more about reverse selling. And I'm like, what the hell is reverse selling? You know what I mean? And just your whole approach and everything. And listen, I'm not trying to, me and Brandon like just met each other, right? So I'm not doing anything here. But to be honest with you, it's just your approach is so authentic, and you don't bullcrap anybody. You just tell the truth and tell it how it is. And that's what was so attractive for me, honestly.
Yeah, that's great. So let's walk through kind of what the last 7 months has been like for you. First and foremost, I want your opinion on something, Vince. You know, there's a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people get their real estate license every single year, thinking real estate is like one thing. Mm-hmm. And then they get into the business and find out that it's something completely different than what they thought it was. Did you have that same experience?
100%. Like, so I remember I got the phone call, and they were like, all right, Vince, your license came in. Right. So I'm like, great, let's go. Made a few phone calls. I'm like, I'm a licensed realtor. hung up the phone. I'm like, what the frick do I do now?
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm like, where do I go from here? So I just went upstairs, started making phone calls, right? First phone call I make, set the preview appointment, right? Bread on butter, cake. I go to the preview appointment, Brandon. I knock on this dude's door, right? The learning is in the doing, right? I'm like
Yep.
wet behind the ears. Knock on this dude's door. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna say to him? You know what I mean? So he lets me in. He's like, hey man, what's going on? So I'm like, hey man, show me the property. You know, he shows me the property. He shows me the property, and I'm like, all right, man. It was great meeting you.
See you
You know what I
later.
mean?
Yeah. Well,
So,
listen, you did exactly what I asked you to do. You
yeah,
know, I told you, like, I know you don't know what you're doing,
yeah,
but I want you to go meet people anyways.
yep,
And that's interesting that you bring that up, because I want to talk about that mindset. Because here's the thing. You probably see this inside of our coaching group all the time. We have so many agents that there's two paths to take when learning anything new, right? There's the path that I believe someone should take, which is like the learning is in the doing. It's just like riding a bike,
mhm,
right? So you get on the bike, you fall down. You get on the bike, you fall down. One day you're riding the bike, right? The path that realtors take, I don't know why, Vince, but I want your opinion on this. So many people from various different backgrounds get into this industry, not want to get on the bike. They want to just learn exactly what to do before they ever get started. They
yeah,
want things to be perfect before they ever take action.
yeah.
Knowing what you know now, 7 months in the game, do you understand the advice that I give to new agents now?
100%. And that's like when I met you at the summit, and I was like, thanks. I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for you, right? Because I would probably still be stuck learning contracts and
That's right.
crossing my T's and dot my I's. I mean, I still cross my T's and dot my I's, but I'm doing a lot more than a lot of other agents just because I'm putting myself out there. I'm in front of a lot more sellers than most realtors in my market just because I go to that preview appointment. I now have more confidence in myself than a lot of other agents out there. And I know that for an absolute fact because I have sellers telling me that. They say, every seller I meet with, your energy is phenomenal. There's something about you. I don't know what it is. I think it's just, like you said, people do business with who they like, you know what I mean? And
That's
that's
right.
just a fact. So
Yeah, I
absolutely.
love it. I love it. Because you've been doing this for 7 months. Give people some context around where you're at from a production standpoint.
Yeah. So the first 3 or 4, honestly, probably like 4 months, I was laid off from my job so I was just doing real estate as like kill some time, you know what I mean? And in
Yep.
like my first 3 months, I made like $20,000, $34,000 GCI.
Yep.
Um, and I was only making like $50,000, $60,000 on my other job, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then my other job calls me and they're like, "Hey Vince, we want you to come back." And I'm like, haha, what do I do here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went back for a month and I'm like still trying to do real estate on the side. And my wife was like, babe, she's like, go full-time real estate. She's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? She really pushed me, honestly, and she's probably one of the main reasons I'm a full-time realtor at this point. So I then left. Went there. I was working for a month, and then I was like, listen, guys, put my 2 weeks in. I was like, I got to go full-time real estate. So now in the business for 7 months. I just had my 5th closing today, and I have an additional 7 under contract right now, and another um, almost million in active listings. So I have 15 listings, 15 total transactions
Wow.
so far.
And so I mean, that's amazing, dude, because here's the reality. You have 15 listings, not in 7 months, but realistically within probably what, 3 or 4 months of actually working in the business, would you say?
I got 9 listing once I put my 2 weeks in, and once I quit my job, I doubled down, and I got like 9 listings in that 30 days, in that 30-day window right after. So I was making like $60,000 at my other job, and in that 30-day window, I made like 55,000 GCI. So it was like, I'm like, thanks, babe. You know what
Unbelievable.
I mean?
So that's why I wanted to get you on the podcast and talk through that, because you have, I mean, I think you probably do have an idea how many people want to duplicate those results, but really, really struggle, right? So knowing what you know now, like you said, I'm going to go all in, Brandon. I'm going to go meet with people. I'm going to take the advice. And I hear you say all the time, the learnings and the doing. what advice would you give to all the new real estate agents, Vince, that are sitting there saying to themselves, well, I'm going to keep, learning as much as I can before I get started? Like, what advice would you give them knowing what you know now?
Don't let your fears get in the way. My number one thing, and I live by this every day I wake up, the leave your what am I trying to say here? Um, what's the saying that you always say? Just leave the focus on the outcome.
Yeah,
And
detach from the outcome.
yeah, detach from
100%.
the outcome. I'm sorry. Yeah, detach from the outcome. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'll go into, so I'm 23 years old, right?
Yeah.
I go into a listing appointment, phenomenal listing appointment, right? Everything's smooth. We're laughing, we're talking. I was there for like an hour, right? And I'm thinking in my head, like, listen, got this listing in the bag, right? I walk out and they're like, yeah, we'll let you know. I said, when can I hear from you guys? Right. And they say Sunday. So they call me Sunday. I didn't have to call them. They call me Sunday and they say, Vince, you had the best presentation, but honestly, she says, my husband thinks you're just too young. So I'm like, it's like, all right. But honestly, I had 9 other listings, you know what I mean? The more
Right.
like, I didn't care. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, yeah, no worries. Did not care about the outcome at all. I just went, put my best foot forward and on to the next one. You know what I mean? I'll have another
It's
listing
phenomenal.
tomorrow.
So here's the thing, right? So you get 9 listings really in 30 days. You make more money in 30 days than you had in a whole year. Let's unpack that. Okay. So first off, what lead sources are you working right now?
Yeah. So FISBO is my go-to. I saw some other people in the group having a lot of success with expireds. So I
Yep.
just started expireds right as I quit my job. And that within that 30-day window, I got three expired listings right off the jump. So I wake up now, it's expireds, FISBOs for rent by owners.
Okay.
I haven't really dived into the shared group yet, but I absolutely need to. I know for a fact that FISBOs are starting to dry up in my market. So I want to hit absentees for sure.
You're awesome. So you're going to add absentees as like your 4th pillar of business in 2022.
Yeah, 100%. My sphere, I touch them within the emails and everything, and social media posts. I know like social media posts isn't an exact like touch, but they see my videos. I talk to people about it. Sphere hasn't done anything for me. All my listings have come from FISBOs, expireds, and for rent by owners.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up because, your sphere will respond to you the longer you're in this business.
Mm-hmm.
You were just like me, right? So when I got started, I just really worked on my skills, my mindset, my action. And it took a couple years for my sphere to really know that I was for real. And then they started calling me. So once that happens for you, dude, like your business is going to absolutely explode. So keep making content, keep posting on social media, keep documenting your journey, and that will absolutely help you down the road. So let me ask you this. So you're working those sources of business. There's a lot of people out there that tell new agents like, dude, prospecting, that stuff doesn't work. Like you just got to post on social media. How much business would you have right now if you did 0 prospecting and you just posted on social media?
It's so funny. I mean, nothing against the agents that are in my office that I'm working with right now. But they all do the social media post. And I watched one video and you're like, social media posts do not work.
Yeah.
So, and it just cracks me up because I mean, like the proof is in the pudding. I mean, I don't even have to explain myself. I mean, actions speak louder than words.
Would you have any deals? I mean, like, honestly,
no, I wouldn't have any. I wouldn't.
You'd have 0.
Question. I'd have 0. I would have absolutely 0. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's not even a question. 0.
So here's the thing that I have such a hard time. Like it frustrates me a lot, like with new agents. Right. And so, because they refuse to accept, Vince, that real estate is absolutely a sales business. It's a direct outbound sales business. And so many people have a tough time accepting that. Why do you think that is? Why do you think so many new agents fight that so much and think that they can be successful without prospecting for new business? Like, where do you think that comes from?
I think, honestly, me and you both know that answer. I mean, you might think, I have a different opinion on this, but just them not knowing before they got into the business. I mean, people, like you say, people think real estate's sexy. I mean, so did I
Yeah.
before I got into the
Yeah.
business, right? I didn't even think, but like before I even joined your program, I didn't think your program was all about like prospecting, like everything, like everything behind it, right? I thought it was just like, all right, for sale by owners, call for sale by owners. But as I joined the program, I mean, a lot more goes into it than just for sale by owners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a whole methodology behind it. And it's something that everybody in the group works on every day. You know what I mean?
Let's unpack that for the audience. So you're working these sources of business. You understand that playing offense and going out there and picking up the phone and communicating with people proactively is the path to business the fastest, right? You've proven it for yourself.
Absolutely.
So what are you saying? And we don't need to get like totally in the weeds of scripting, but what is your approach when you're prospecting, when you're talking to prospects out there? What is your approach when you're talking to them that helps you set these appointments?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I'm still not perfect. All right. I think you and I both know we're just trying to get our foot in the door, right? I mean,
That's right.
the objective is the appointment number one, two, to get the lead. But I'm always trying to get my foot in the door because you heard my phone skills the other day. Listen, they might not be there, but
Sure.
you get me in the door, it's almost game over. You know
Yep.
what I mean? In those 30 days that I got the 9 listings, I probably went on like 14 listing presentations. So it wasn't just those 9 listings. I got 9 listings, but I went on 14 listing presentations.
Sure. Which is great conversion, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it's a great conversion rate. You know what I mean?
Phenomenal.
I'll take that all day long.
And we're gonna talk about that in a second, but say where
so
you're at
anyway,
right now.
So I always try to switch up. Like I shouldn't, but I do. I'll go to the 3.0 script and I'll go, like I have it right in front of me right here. So I'm a local realtor, not sure if now's the right time. I was just hoping to tell you why I called and you could decide if us having a conversation makes sense or not. Does that seem fair?
And how do people respond to that opening line? Let me just ask you that.
So they think for a second. For me anyway, they're like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, why not?
It totally catches them off guard. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is a pattern interrupt. All right. So keep going. So you open that up and they say, yeah, what's up?
Yeah. So I think honestly, one of my pros for me is I've gotten a lot better at hearing motivation over the phone. So like, even if they're telling me they're not motivated, I can hear it in their voice and their tone of voice. So like, if they're like, no, I'm not really interested in selling. Like if I can hear it, and I smell that blood in the water, like I'm doing whatever I can to get their foot in the door. Like I'm driving over to their house before I'm even off the phone.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But so that makes sense. So number one, you're focused on like, okay, the reason I'm calling, which I love that you said this, the focus is that you're looking for the appointment. You're listening for the opportunity when most agents don't understand what that sounds like. So therefore their phone calls, they're not very effective.
Right.
Would you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah. So now you say, okay, let me ask you before we move on to like the next step, what is it that you're communicating as a brand new agent that has so many sellers agreeing to meet with you in the first place? Like if you want to get into your appointment setting script, you can, or you can just give us like high level approach on how you're getting these people to say, yeah, Vince, come on over.
Honestly, I mean, it's just the scripts, like you said, I mean, it's the framework, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, honestly, I don't know. It's just the reverse selling. I mean, I guess it's just a way that, I know, I mean, for the competition's heavy right now. So I know I'm not the only agent getting in the door.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm saying something that works. And
it's all you know. It's all you know because you weren't even in sales before this, were you?
No. I mean, I was selling like lollipops back in high school to like all my friends and stuff, but now I was never in sales.
Yeah. But, so all you know is reverse selling. You don't even have anything to compare it to.
Yeah, I'm doing everything that everybody else in the group is doing, and it's just been working for me. That's all I can say.
Let me give some context because the audience, I guarantee you, when I post this to YouTube, they're like, well, he didn't say what he says. So well, you're probably saying something along the lines of like, well, Vince, let's do this. Let's not agree to anything right now. Obviously, we haven't even met yet. Why don't we simply schedule some time to get together? I'll share with you how my plan works and what I can do to get your property sold. And then you can decide if hiring me makes sense or not. Either way, no big deal. Fair enough. Yeah. Something like that does a couple things. It disarms the prospect making it easier for them to say yes because there's no threat. And you
Right.
you gave them the perception that they are in absolute control, that you were not going to go there and pressure them. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. I just do what you tell me to do, honestly. I don't know what it,
Beautiful. I
I
wish
don't know what it
everybody was like
does.
that.
Yeah. I don't know what it does, but it works. That's all I can say. I mean, listen, that exact script you said, I could pull up a video right now and I recorded myself and it's literally me saying those exact same words. And the guy's like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. And he finally gave in. He's like, all right, yeah, why don't you come over and show me what you have to offer? You
Love
know what
it.
I mean?
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So beautiful. You just continue to work on those skills. Before we move on to the appointment, from a scheduling perspective, how much prospecting are you doing, Vince, on a daily basis on average?
Yeah. So when I first quit my full-time job, I was at 30 contacts a day. I was like, all right, I'm trying to create business. You know, I have a baby on
Absolutely.
the way as well. That's due February. So I'm not playing games, right? So I was at 30 contacts a day and then got a few appointments, dropped down to 20 contacts a day. I'm just being honest. And then
Absolutely.
I'm getting smoked right now. No excuses, absolutely none. But now I'm at like 10, 15 a day. I'll call right now. I'm calling the daily expireds, daily FISBOs, daily for rent by owners, and then I'll do some circle prospect. I hate circle prospecting,
Yeah.
but I do it anyway. And
Yeah.
I have some leads in the pipeline from it. But yeah, so I'll basically call the fresh for rent by all, like I just said, and then it's really like an hour to a day.
Yeah,
So
that's perfect. And
not
here's
bad.
the truth. Here's the truth. Here's the reality that I'll tell you because we're spending this time together.
Mhm.
Really, that's all you need to stay consistent from where you're at right now, because you have 9 or 10 active, transactions going. An hour and a half or 2 hours of prospecting 5 days a week consistently, your skills are going to continue to increase, number one. And then number two, your pipeline will continue to grow.
Mhm.
So as long as you're making 15, 20 good, solid contacts per day, you're going to be a top producer. So you
Yeah.
shouldn't feel guilty about that. I like that you said when you first got started, it was at 30, because that's what a new agent needs to do. No listings, no pipeline, no leads, no nothing. So beautiful. Makes a lot of sense. So tell us about the appointment, right? So you set this appointment. What is the mindset, the approach, the tactics that you practice when you go and meet with the seller?
Yeah. So I always, even for a preview appointment, to be honest with you, I mean, you might disagree with this, but I always just found it adds value and separates me from other agents. I'll bring the seller's estimated net sheet, even to a preview
Yeah,
appointment.
sure.
So
Sure.
I say, listen, I'll just start from the beginning. So I'll bring a market report, but I don't go over it. I say, here, this is for you. You know what I mean? Bring
Love
a
it.
seller's disclosure. I'll leave it in my car though. I don't
Yeah.
always give it to them. I say, hey, do you have a seller's disclosure? I have one in my car. If you don't, a lot of the times they do. Some of the times they don't. So if they don't, I'll say, hey, I'll run out to the car. Let me go grab it. They usually follow me to the car. That's at the end of the meeting. Um, so really, I just walk in. I say, hey, do you want me to take my shoes off? They say no, for the most part. They walk me around the property, and walking around the property is just gold to create rapport. You just talk about anything, and for me, anything and everything. I mean, I'm a sociable
That's right.
person. I'll talk
Yeah.
about anything.
Yeah.
Um, so then, really, what happens from there is a lot of times I find out people always ask me, like, even within the group, they're like, how do you get them to sit down with you? You know what I mean? Like, what do you
Yeah.
do to get them to sit down? I don't. They tell me to sit down for the most
Yeah.
part. They're like, here, sit down at the kitchen table. And I'm like, all right,
Perfect.
sure, why not? You know what I mean?
Are you a suit and tie guy, or do you dress casual?
Sports blazer, kind of like how you dress for the,
Yeah.
yeah, so jeans, white dress shirt, sports blazer.
Got it.
Um, yeah, so I learned that the hard way. One of the top producing agents in my office was like, dude, they're like, if you're going to meet with the sellers, I usually wear a polo. They're like, you need to dress nicer, dude.
Yeah,
And
100%.
they're like, I'm
I would
not.
encourage you. Just so you know, and maybe you didn't know this, if I go to an appointment, I'm suit and tie every single time. No
Yeah.
exceptions, no excuses.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely
So,
need more suits. I only have two right now, but
well, with all this money you're making, you'll get some more. So
yeah,
keep
I'm
rocking
trying
and
to get a
rolling.
Tesla soon. I told myself I mean, like I said, I got a baby on the way, but 200K
Yeah,
GCI, I might be getting a Tesla.
there you go. So you have no problem getting them to sit down at the table, and then when
Yeah.
you're at the table, what are you saying to yourself on like how you're going to make an impression, how you're going to provide value? What are some of the things that you're doing?
Yeah. So what I bring is the CMA, and I honestly just run through the CMA, and that's basically it, to be honest with
Yep.
you guys. So I run through the CMA. I say, hey, listen, I show active properties. This is your competition. Pending properties. This is the most accurate because we know for an absolute fact we have buyers who are looking for a home just like yours in your area. Closed properties. This is what an appraiser is going to use to justify the price of your home. So have at it. You know, I mean, this is all like everything you need right here, and basically say, use me as a resource. And like, I'm the backup plan, like absolute fact. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm trying to set in my head. I don't really care about getting the listing appointment all the time. So
Love it. I love it. And I mean, it's really simple. And would you agree that like that CMA presentation makes up for like 80% of the appointment?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they usually ask me questions. A lot of it is just creating that relationship. And I don't know if you agree. It's just, we might not even be talking about real estate. They might be talking to me about my life. Like, oh, you're young, or, oh, you have a wedding band on. Like, how long have you been married? You know what I mean? So people like, I don't want to harp on this, but people do business with who they like.
So simple. Another
yeah.
thing people have such a hard time understanding, and it's so true. It's very, very simple.
Yeah.
You know,
like I beat out an agent. I sat down for this, went to a preview appointment, right? She goes, "Hey Vince, you're gonna love this." She goes, "Hey Vince, sit down." So before I even like check out the property, she goes, "So what do you have to offer?"
no
like,
way. Yeah, it's great.
I'm like, you thought, I was like, I didn't bring all like my whole agenda. I thought I was previewing the property. And she goes, "Well, this other agent just came through and she shows me what he brought." And I'm like, shit, this guy brought like the whole shebang, colored paper, a binder, like a straight 1 inch or 2 inch binder with all these comps, handwritten on every comp. And I sat down with her for 2 hours, didn't even have my whole listing presentation with me. And she went with me over the other agent. The other agent's been in business for 15 years and he's his own broker. So that made me feel pretty good.
Well, I mean, I say, you hear me say it all the time, but people watching this interview or listening to this interview don't hear me say it. And that is, you know, it is not about what you do or what you bring. It's all about how you make people feel.
Yeah.
And knowing what you know now, is that something that you absolutely are bought into, that you absolutely believe? And you're living proof of that, because that other person on paper, if you asked 1,000 people, who do you guys think is going to get the listing? This 15-year veteran, he's his own broker, all this sexy ass material, or Vince, brand new agent, brought nothing.
Black and white, stapled paper.
Yeah, I know, that was me. And so like, this just goes to show that so many agents are focused on the wrong thing, right? Where it's all about how you can communicate with somebody and how you can make them feel. You were at the summit, so you get it. When I showed the movie of Southpaw, right?
Yeah.
And then we brought 2 agents on stage. They read a script. They did okay.
I thought they did pretty good.
They did pretty good. It almost screwed up my whole thing. I'm like, oh crap. So the point was like, they read the same words, right? And then when the actors did it, you felt so much emotion.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of the point. So you're going there, you're connecting with the seller, you're getting them to like you, you're building rapport, you're making them feel as though you're going to take great care of them, that you are the obvious choice. Now let's talk about the big thing, which is follow-up, right? So you leave that appointment. How much of your business right now has come through that initial contact, that initial appointment, versus you having to follow up? Like, what would be the percentage?
So I think
roughly,
I did the numbers the other day. I believe it's like 10 through follow up and 5 through initial contact.
Makes sense.
I have a door knock too, though. You know.
Yeah.
So.
But the majority of your business is coming through lead follow-up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come from that initial contact, correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
So give us an idea of what you're doing to stay top of mind to win these listings over time during follow-up.
Yeah, so what I do is it depends how much they're motivated. If I can tell like over the phone, like, okay, they're going to be listing with an agent.
Yeah.
I'm like every other day I'm texting them. So video text, email, text, anything I can do to send them a handwritten card, right? But so it all depends on how motivated they are. But if it's just like a regular FISBO, I almost follow it to a T, what you say. So you put them on the weekly email from my MLS.
Yeah.
Call them on Monday. So I might not do it every Monday. I might do it every other, to be honest. Depending how motivated they are. And then the text, I'm big on text. Like I'll text them every other day. I really don't care, because like you say, you don't have anything, you know what I mean? So there's nothing to lose. So I'll nag them.
And what are you saying? So when you're texting them, like what type of messaging are you sending?
Yeah. I wish I could pull up something. I might as well pull it up with you. Hold on.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, is it that you're asking them, you know, for their business? Are you saying, how can I help you? What questions do you have? Tell me about that.
Right. So, this was my most recent listing. Okay. So this is an expired listing, short sale. I know that you're not big on short sales, but, it was a huge
Yeah,
listing.
you took it.
Um, so I call her and she says, "Hey Vince, home was under contract, fell through, still want to sell." So ding, 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 right? Obviously.
Yeah.
So she tells me, "I'm busy at work right now. I'll call you later." Click, hangs up on me. I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, damn. So I say, "Hey Michelle, this is Vince with Keller Williams. I just sent you an email with some, I did get her email. Send you an email with some information about myself. Let me know when you want to meet. We can meet sometime this weekend. I can have my photographer and videographer there on Tuesday and have it up on the market Wednesday. I know you're probably frustrated. I would love to help you get this thing out from underneath of you and actually get to the closing table." No response, right?
Yeah.
The next day, "Hey Michelle, would you like to meet tomorrow and discuss putting your home up for sale?" No response. Hey Michelle, the next day, so on Sunday,
This is great.
"Hey Michelle, I will be in the area." I really wasn't going to be in the
Sure.
area. "Hey Michelle, I will be in the area on Wednesday and I'll be right by the property. Let me know if that's a good day." No response. Then I waited 2 days. So 2 days, nothing. Then I replied the next day with a video text, nothing. The next day after that, I sent her a text and she responded. and she said, "Come over whatever day it was, sign the listing on the spot."
There, oh my gosh. I mean, that deserves a round of applause.
I was relentless, dude.
Well, here's why. I mean, all the studies have shown, okay, that it takes a minimum of 5 attempts to get a response. And that is exactly what you did. I was trying to count those when you were going through those,
Yeah,
but I think it was
7 or 8, 9.
Yeah, I was going to say it was probably 6 or 7. The point is, every study has shown, my experience has been the same as yours. The majority of my business comes through that relentless follow-up, because here's the truth. Most agents would have never done what you would have done. Never. They would have never been relentless. They would have given up.
Yeah, you know what the crazy part is? So I went in and she said, "I had so many realtors calling me. So why the heck did you go with me?" Right?
Yeah.
She goes, "I thought the video text you sent me was cute."
Oh, love it.
I said, sounds good to me. Sign here.
Yeah, that's great. Good for you. So listen, you have so much confidence, you have so much momentum. When you look ahead to 2022 and you talk with your wife, what type of, what do your goals look like? What type of income do you think you can generate for your new young family?
Yeah. So right now, if I'm about to put one under contract today. Like after I hang up with you, I'm probably gonna, I might even have it a signed contract. I'll have 3 more active properties, and if I sold all 3, one's probably not going to sell, so I'm going to take the one out. It's not really a great listing. So if I sold all the listings that I think are going to sell, I'll be at 4,095,000. So that'll be just above 100K GCI. So I'll be like 103 GCI.
Wow.
So like I said, my goal is 200K this year. Am I going to hit it? I don't know. If I keep doing what I'm doing, probably. But my 5-year goal, this year goal is 200K. My 5-year goal, I would love to have 25 million in sales. It's a big goal, but
love it. So listen, you're gonna hit the magic 100,000 within your first year. Really, again, you've only been actively doing this for probably 4 or 5 months, if you really look at it.
Yeah.
Next year, in 2022, you think you can get to that $200,000-$300,000 in income?
No question.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just as if you put it. Do the
it's
work.
So simple. You put in the work, you get the result. I mean, it's that simple.
And it's so simple to the point where, like, I'm actually coaching a class. I had 2 offices reach out and say, "Hey, do you want to come and do it?" I'm like, I'm honored. You know what I mean? Why not? So
yeah.
They even said some veterans are going to be there. They're wondering what I'm doing. It's just like, it's not secret, right? Like,
it's not a secret.
So
you could tell them exactly. You could tell them exactly what to do, and they're still not going to do it.
Yeah, like what you tell us. If I told you, Brandon, make 50 if I told you you can make 50 contacts a day and I'll give you $100,000, would you do it?
Right.
Say, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah. I'd say, yeah.
Exactly.
I'll make 50 contacts a day for $100,000 that year.
Yeah.
So, but some people say, yeah, but it's no secret. Make the calls, but nobody wants to. You know what I mean? So I tell everybody in the office, I make phone calls. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret, but they still don't do it. So
that's right. That's right. So what does your wife think of all this success? I mean, obviously she's the reason why you're probably here on this interview. So you probably owe her a lot of credit for believing in you. Now that you're getting the results, is she just so fired up and so excited for you guys?
Yeah, she's so fired up. She thinks it's phenomenal. I mean, it is phenomenal. I mean, how do you go from making $60,000 and then jump into a new
Yeah.
a new business, wet behind the ears? I'm still wet behind the ears. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to say it. And I'll be 4 million. I'm at the top 20% in my office. And if I go to 8 million, I'll be top 10%. And there's only 120 people in my office. So I'll be the top 10 people. So she's just blown away, and she's just excited for the future, because she's like, dude, like, if you can do this
Yeah.
in 6 months, what can you do in a full year?
Yeah.
Where are we going to be? Where are we going to be in 6 months?
I can't wait. And the thing is, I'll make, what I'd like to do is absolutely interview you this time next year when we get to Thanksgiving next year, so we can document that journey and show people how far you've come, and really show people what's possible when you're willing to do the work, when you're willing to show up every single day, no matter what, and do the work. So my last question for you before I let you go is, for all the agents watching this, either new or experienced, what do you think would be one piece of advice that you think would impact their business the most?
Detach from the outcome. That's what's been most successful for me. I just don't care. I'll go into, if I'm making a phone call and somebody tells me to go F myself, dude, on to the next. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
somebody said on an interview or on a coaching call, don't go to your mind alone. It's a dark place. I wrote it down. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
genius. You know what I mean? Like, your mind plays tricks on you. Just
Yeah.
do the work. Absolutely. And people say it. And like, I remember when I was like first started and people say, do the work, do the work. I'm like, shut
I
up.
know.
I
In
always
one
say, "Do
ear,
the
out
work."
the other. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so true. Just do the work. Just wake up, make your phone calls, and you'll be wealthy. That's
Yeah.
it's just a fact.
Yeah.
And everybody in the group, we all can vouch for it.
Yeah. And I know I said that was the last question, but I am interested to find out what's been one of the biggest takeaways that you've learned working together over the last 6 months or so from you and I.
Oh, dude, I mean, you shortened my learning curve by tremendously. I mean, that's a hard question to ask, just because there's been so much. I mean, I don't even know. It would probably be just picking up the phone, dude. That's really it. I mean, you teach us all this stuff, but I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. And it's just a fact. If you make phone calls every day, even Joe Bennett said it, you might not even have a great script,
Yeah.
but I can guarantee you, if you're picking up the phone every day, you're going to get business. So
Love it.
don't be a secret agent, I guess, would be the answer. Just put yourself out there and don't be afraid.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's great advice. Great advice. So, dude, thank you so much for doing this. So many people will be inspired. I promise you this, man. I've been doing these student interviews now for 3 or 4 years. And every time we post a new one, it just really helps these newer agents get going. So I want to thank you for them. And I'm excited for you for 2022 and what has in store for you in the future.
Yeah, let me leave you guys with this. I mean, listen, I'm 23 years old. And if I can do it, absolutely, you guys can do it. I wake up in the morning, I freaking forget how to tie my shoelaces. So if I can do it,
That's
you
right.
guys can do it. Absolutely. Just pick up the phone. Seriously. That's all it is.
It's great,
Make your
Vince.
phone calls.
Amazing. Keep rocking, brother. I will see you soon. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you guys all soon. Thanks for watching.